Hello, hello. We are excited to be here for another Facebook Live with B and I. I am Kitty Chambliss, the founder of the Loving Without Boundaries mission. I am excited to have a wonderful topic we want to discuss with you today about when we are experiencing self-doubt and how that can show up in our relationships, in our lives, especially when we're coloring outside of the lines of heteronormative monogamy and living our most authentic lives. So if you are new to our community, we want to say welcome, and we are happy to have you here. We do our best to keep our community feeling safe. So we honor you for being here and finding people that are of like mind and doing what you can to find support and a sense of being around other people who understand the ups and downs of living your most authentic life, even when you are maybe navigating jealousy or insecurity or guilt or shame or the pain of maybe past infidelity. So with that, we're going to just jump into our topic today, which is when self-doubt comes up. I'd love to introduce you to B, and I'm going to let you, B, take the baton and start us off.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be back with our bi-weekly Facebook Live. So today's topic is self-doubt. And first, I want to start us off with normalizing self-doubt that most of us throughout our lives to varying degrees experience self-doubt, which means that we feel uncertainty about our abilities, decisions, and around our self-worth. And as Kitty, you touched upon it already, self-doubt doesn't necessarily comes up in one areas of our life, but it can actually come up across the board. And sometimes we might not even think about this as self-doubt, but we're gonna go deeper into that, what type of manifestations self-doubt can take throughout our lives. But what I want to mention is that same with any emotions, self-doubt can range from a mild discomfort and a few thoughts coming up in our head that, oh, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do this. And it can range to paralysis when we just really are stopped in our tracks. We feel a freeze response and we're unable to take action. And once it becomes to that degree that we fail to take action, we fail to go after our dreams, we fail to pursue the relationships, that the connections that are in alignment with our values, then it's really becoming a problem. When it comes to consensual non-monogamy, of course, we have many contributing factors that can amplify self-doubt. If we start out with an unresolved self-doubt at the beginning when we enter into the CNM scene, then we might find it more challenging to deal with the many aspects of this lifestyle. For example, the very unique dynamics in each relationship, for example, how to allocate time, how to set boundaries, what are the unique emotional dynamics of each relationships. And of course, because of the societal stigma, we also have to deal with our self-doubt when it comes to possibly questioning the validity of our relationships, of our desires, wanting to have partners where partnerships where we have multiple partners. And sometimes that outside voice, the noise from the environment, let it come from family or workplace or friends or society at large, can become our internalized voice, and we really can start to question the validity of our choices. So self-doubt can have, as I mentioned it before, can have many manifestations throughout our lives. And sometimes we may not even notice that, oh, this is self-doubt. I never thought about this, that this can be at the root that I'm feeling uncertain about my abilities, decisions, and self-worth. And one of the ways that self-doubt can appear is that when we question our own desirability and our partner's intentions. So if we have an underlying trust issue with ourselves, then it's likely that we're going to project it to other people as well, and going to feel suspicious very often about our partners as well. And how it shows up at a behavioral level is we might portray signs of jealousy, constant comparison, and seeking constant reassurance. And even though it can be something that we can resolve over time if we don't understand self-doubt, if we don't pay attention to how this might extend into our relationships, if we don't resolve it over time, that can cause strain in all of our relationships. Because, for example, let's just say seeking constant reassurance can be really draining for our partners, including contributing to resentment on their side, or us ending up in a dependent cycle. So in a relationship that is not equal, because I feel dependent, I need reassurance, I seek external validation, and we can end up in a really unhealthy dance with our partners that is a strain on a relationship on the long run.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing all of that, B. And I think this is such an important topic, and it can show up in our relationships. And I'll share even a story from my own life, which is I've been with one of my partners for a number of years now, and I started to have some self-doubt about, was I even able to have some non-negotiable boundaries? What do those non-negotiable boundaries look like? And I started to doubt whether I had the courage to voice those, because I was worried it might mean the end of our relationship if those non-negotiable boundaries weren't going to be honored, which is a real fear. You know, there's a real fear in potentially losing our most cherished relationships. So I had to go really deep inside myself and really look at what was I really truly okay with in my relationship, what was absolutely not okay with me, what was I not able to tolerate, and where was maybe accepting things that I didn't want to tolerate chipping away at my own sense of self-esteem or self-respect, because that can also increase when we're feeling some self-doubt. And I did some journaling and did a lot of introspective work, talked to some people that I trusted and I respected, and just gave that some thought. And once I did that, I just got really clear. I did some reading on healthy boundaries and pulled up my bootstraps, and we just had the conversation once we were both ready to have it. And I did express my non-negotiable boundaries despite feeling some doubts about what was going to happen. And lo and behold, I felt more confident once I did that. They were honored. You know, we were able to come to some agreements around that. And this was several months ago, and now our relationship is thriving. So it can be really powerful to notice fear, notice self-doubt, do some of that internal work, and then have the conversation that you may need to have. One of the quotes we love here around Loving Without Boundaries is that our success in life is partly based on the number of uncomfortable conversations we're willing to have. So that was an uncomfortable conversation, yet I felt stronger and more confident on the other side of it. And sometimes we may need to go inside, go into the cave, so to speak, and do some of that work to figure out what conversation do we need to have here so that you can navigate up and out through self-doubt and through some fears, because on the other side, you may have a lot more confidence and a sense of self-respect on the other side of that. So I just wanted to share a story there just to really underscore some of what you're talking about, B, and thank you for bringing this important topic to our group here.
Thank you, Kiri, for sharing this story. I can pull out loads of amazing stuff from your story, and I believe that what you mentioned, what fears you said that were coming up around boundary setting is actually quite common. So what I heard is having some fears around difficult conversation, expressing your needs and boundaries as well, and possibly making certain decisions as well. And these fears can really get strong if we have an underlying self-doubt. And myself also have had a really strong self-doubt streak coming up when I was setting a non-negotiable boundary. This was the very first time that I tried to implement this non-negotiable boundary, and actually this was a deal breaker for me in relationships. So the boundary said that whenever this particular pattern shows up in any relationship, I'm going to discontinue this relationship. There's nothing wrong with that particular pattern. It's just simply that I had past experience, and I made that decision that I am not happy having this particular pattern in my life again. So I'm just gonna discontinue whatever happens in a very loving and compassionate way. This looked really awesome on paper, and I was very satisfied that, okay, I have another really strong boundary that I'm gonna keep myself to. What I wasn't taking into consideration is that what happens when certain emotions start to show up. So I had this new relationship. We built trust and safety with each other for several months, and that pattern appeared that actually my non-negotiable boundary, my deal breaker, said that I am going to stop the connection whenever this pattern shows up. I had a relatively easy, although an emotional time to have that conversation in a very loving and very caring way with this particular person, and how we said our goodbyes to each other. It was incredibly beautiful, which really warmed my heart that we were able to come together as a team to say our goodbyes this way. But what came after that, as soon as we finished the conversation, a few hours later, I started feeling self-doubt, which lasted for about 2 weeks. That interfered with my sleep. I could barely sleep throughout night. I had issues focusing on my daily activities, and all sorts of questions kept coming up. So when self-doubt happens for us, it can either stop us from taking action, or once we made the decision and took action, on the other side of it, we may start questioning that decision. So we don't feel good about that particular decision. And this is what happened for me. All sorts of questions can come in up, like, what if I exited too early? What if I just gave more chances? But the but aspect came up as well. But yeah, I know that this pattern showed up, but I have the skill set to hold space for this pattern, such as I did in the past. Yeah, this pattern is there, but this person showed willingness to work on this particular pattern, and I can help both personally and professionally with resolving this pattern. Plus, NRE was really high, which we usually talk about, that it can disrupt our everyday working. So there was loads of emotions coming up, actually, I had more questions after having that goodbye conversation than I had before. So I really felt that doubting myself, doubting my decision really disrupted my life. And actually, I felt tempted to have another conversation and to come up with a game plan with this person to come to the field of understanding and work on these patterns. I did not follow through. I didn't go back to an extra conversation. I took the learning from this particular experience, and how that appeared in practice is that in my agreement with myself, I created a contingency plan. What if certain emotions come up? I didn't know that emotions can interfere with my boundary setting. We don't know until we do. So I definitely learned my lesson. And the next time this pattern showed up in the next relationship, I was really easily able to have the conversation, and I stopped the self-doubt coming up because I adjusted my strategy with self-compassion throughout for myself and lots of compassion for the other person.
That's awesome. And I really want to just highlight some of the work that you did there, just being able to give yourself some compassion and taking the learning from that. That's really, really beautiful. One more quick story that I can share is when I was first writing my book, Jealousy Survival Guide, How to Feel Safe, Happy, and Secure in an Open Relationship. Whenever, I don't know how many people in our community have ever written a book, but I mean, anytime you're doing anything for the first time, there can be a lot of self-doubt, but certainly when you're writing a book, in my case, and with anyone, again, writing something like that, you're going to have imposter syndrome. It's normal and natural. It's a normal human thing to happen. Is, why would anyone, maybe you're giving a speech, right? Why would anybody want to listen to me? Why do they want to hear what I have to say, right? How am I qualified to write this book? And we can go down those pathways of creating doubt and fear and uncertainty. Or we also have a choice. We can condition new thought patterns, new behaviors. And that's a lot of the ways that we help our clients as coaches, is to help them understand how do you switch and pivot from going down the self-doubt, fear, uncertainty path, and how can you pivot over into building confidence, building self-esteem, and creating the life that you want. And so with writing my book, I ended up creating a belief system. Like I looked at all my limiting beliefs, my false beliefs that were holding me back, and doing a lot of the work that we do with our clients, I shifted those around into empowering beliefs. And I made myself this cheat sheet that I would read every single morning when I woke up about why I was the perfect person to write this book, why now was the perfect time to share this information, why I was building the most amazing community like all of you to receive this information. And that added fuel to the fire of building certainty and confidence. I also hired a team. So I had my editor, who is Dr. Elizabeth Sheff. She was my editor, and she also ended up becoming my coach and my cheerleader. So as I was sending her chapters, she was like, "Oh, this is amazing. Keep them coming. These are awesome." And so that also created this momentum and this accountability in working with Dr. Elizabeth Sheff as my coach. And that's a lot of the ways that we are working with our clients, is adding that momentum, giving you the skills to succeed, even when you're coloring outside the lines of heteronormative monogamy, and encouraging you along the way, highlighting all your successes. And it was just one foot in front of the other that helped me to navigate through self-doubt, through the fear and uncertainty, to finally hitting publish and putting that book out into the world, because that book wasn't doing any good just staying on my computer or staying in a notebook lying around the house over here. So it's really important sometimes to figure out how to navigate through those fears that we have so that you can really step into living your best life. Before we move on, is there anything else that you wanted to share there, B? And then we'll maybe just start to talk about what does it look like on the other side of this and what could happen.
Yes, Kiri, I want to share that I'm so glad that you stepped into your best version, your superhero, and turned the situation around with those empowering beliefs and reaching out for a support network, because this book is absolutely amazing. I love your book. This is how I found you at the beginning. So
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, publish button.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's amazing what we can create, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And
That's magic.
you also
Yeah.
highlighted that self-doubt can really become a problem when we don't take action, when we stay contracted, when we don't go and pursue our dreams. And there's absolutely something on the other side of it. It's a skill set to cultivate how to address our self-doubt. One can be the acceptance that, okay, self-doubt is going to be there. I surrender to it. It's part of the human experience, such as sadness, frustration, grief, and joy. What can I do about it? How can I step into solution-oriented mode to move beyond it and to go after my dreams, to publish that book, to call that girl, to ride that boy, to go on that date,
Mhm.
talk about my needs, to set that particular boundary. This is definitely something. On the other side of that is joy and confidence, as you
Mhm.
mentioned at the very beginning. It's when we think that self-doubt is something that it's a sign to stop us. That's where we need to step in with our best version and doubt our own doubt, that no, you're not a sign to stop me.
I love that, doubt around doubt. Yeah. Yeah. And that's also, again, how we often work with our clients, is asking doubt inducing questions. So if we have a belief that is stopping us from living our best lives, right? Asking simple questions like, is that really true? How do I know with 100% certainty that that is true? And then we keep walking it out so that you can step into your best life, which is exactly what I was able to do by writing that book, which led to you and I even being here today having this conversation, which is pretty remarkable when you think about it. So if any of this is resonating with you, know that help is out there. So if you are looking to navigate through fears, through your own self-doubt, through your own low self-worth, that can happen, right? And it's normal. You don't need to feel necessary. If you're also looking to release shame around where you're at on your journey of living your most authentic life, there is help. So if you are looking for help, if you would like to work with coaches who really truly care about your well-being, because that's also what's really important. You don't want to just be a number, a cog in the wheel. You want to work with people who really truly care about your happiness. And if that's what you're looking for, you can learn how to challenge your disempowering thought patterns. You can learn how to build emotional resilience, and you can absolutely learn how to improve your communication and your healthy boundary setting skills. So if that's something you're looking for, I invite you to book with myself at lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. That's how B and I first met each other, was over a free breakthrough session. And on that call, you just, when you click that link, just select a time slot that works for you in my calendar. And then we will also just ask you to fill out a very brief form so that I have some context for our conversation. And then we'll jump on that call. We'll put our heads together and see if we're a fit to work together. If we're not a fit, that's okay. I will do my best to steer you in the best direction for you. If we are a fit, then we will craft a plan for what that looks like and talk about an opportunity to build a coaching relationship with myself, the team B. We have a whole team here that is looking to support you. We are trauma informed, and we are here to support you. So if that's you, go to that link, lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply, and know that we are happy that you are here and part of our community. We care about you. We love you. We are glad you are here with us. Be any other parting thoughts?
Yeah, just to sum it up what we talked about, and again, normalizing the feelings of self-doubt. It's part of the human experience. Most of us experience certain uncertainty about our abilities and our worth. It doesn't have to define us though. There's a skill set that we can build, there's strategies we can deploy, how to address our self-doubt and how to go after that life that we want to create. With every single step that we take to better understand ourselves, to address our disempowering states, we get closer to having a deeper, more intimate connection with ourselves and with other people as well. The more we know ourselves, the more we can create that inner source of abundance, the more abundantly we can show up in our relationships as well, and just create fulfillment, joy, and long-term satisfaction for ourselves and in our relationships as well.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you for this important topic, B, and for your heart and your soul that you bring to everything that you do here for our community, Loving Without Boundaries, and I know in your own life. So with that, we will sign off for now and just say again, have a great week. We're happy that you're here, and we really do care about your well-being. So if you are looking for some help, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Okay. All right. Take care. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.